Howdy y'all, you got the Bulldog on the channel. Par for the course. Today's a bad day because I woke up. It's usually how it happens. But I told you last week we were going to be working on exhaust manifolds on this Ford. And here we are. Now, let's see here. You can see that the rear one, I think you can see it, doesn't have a nut on it. It's busted off already. Three of them in front of them have something on it. The front one is broke off flush with the head. Now the bottom one came out over here. This one broke off flush with the head. Those two came out. The rear one broke off flush with the manifold. Now I'm going to show you what I'm dealing with. There's supposed to be a 13 millimeter head. And I was going to look to see if I had a nut here that's that size so I could show you for comparison what size that's supposed to be. And I'm not finding. Oh, here we go. There's a comparison of what size a 13 millimeter is supposed to be, and there is the size I just took out. I drove a 10 millimeter nut or socket over top of it so that I could have something to get a hold of it with, and it did break loose and come out. I'm doing all the bottom ones first so that whenever this manifold gets loose and starts to lay down, I'm not laying down on my extension. And I can see the top ones real easy to see if my socket's creeling or anything. The reason I got the pry bar in here is I got the pry bar hooked behind something on the block there, and it's holding my socket straight because I've got a deep well on it. I have to have enough distance to get out past the manifold, about that far, plus it has to have a little bit for the stud on the end of the deal. I can use an intermediate socket, but then my wobble socket or my wobble extension will be hitting the manifold. So a couple of them have come out really hard, but they came out. I don't care how hard it is as long as they come out. I don't care how hard the job is as long as it's possible. I just hate the impossible, and I still have to get it done. That's what we usually run into on these stinking things is I have to bring people can't do it themselves, other shops can't do it, and they bring it to me, and I have to conjure a miracle in order to make something work. And I don't know. I know that this thing will be apart pretty darn quick. I just don't know how much of a nightmare it's going to be afterwards. It looks like we probably will have to get a engine dipstick tube. You can see it's pretty rusty where it goes through there. I've had a couple people that'll buy their stuff and they'll stop by. Hey, can you slip this in real quick? No. Well, just real quick, you know, it's broke off at the bottom. No, it's not broke off. It rusted off. And there's a stop sticking down in your engine about that far, and about that much of it's going to be holding. It's not coming out. It's a nightmare doing it. So they go somewhere else because we couldn't do it right then, right there, while they wait. I don't know how it went. They were probably really mad at the other people, but probably really mad at us for not doing it. That stuff happens all the time. I can't drop everything and do your job right now while you wait, while you're watching, because you think it'll take 5 minutes. It doesn't work that way. Somebody has already been into this truck, and I don't think they made a real mess, but you know, I'm following their tracks. We'll get this side off, then we'll move to the other side. The last one of these V10s I did out of the 20 bolts, I had to drill out 11 of them. It was worse than this one by far. But this one is an older model. They used the same V10. They didn't go to the 3-valve Triton design like the 5.4s did in 2004. 03 and down and 04 and up on the V10 is the same engine, the same old 2-valve design, tried and true. It's just that adding an extra cylinder triples the cost of the exhaust manifolds. Okay? We don't set the prices. But anyway, you know, that last one, you know, it was a nightmare and a half. I did it by myself. But with that tool, it was possible. We're going to be using that tool. I think it's called a Pro Max. But what it'll do, I'll do a video when we do it. But it'll bolt on any existing bolt holes that you have so that everything will line up perfectly. And it has a deal that'll screw into various collars, and it'll have an itty bitty little hole in it, and that'll line up about dead center with your other bolt, the one that's twisted off. And you have an itty bitty little drill bit. You stick that in there and give it a bump to set, and then you drill out your bolt, and it will drill pretty darn close to dead center, and it will be straight. So you'll drill all the way through that bolt, and then it has a special burr tool that drill up into it, just hard and rough as you take, and hopefully that breaks that thread loose and screws it on up into the head a little bit. And then you take your chaser set and you screw it up into the thread on the outside that's all tore up now, because that's where they always stick, that first thread where it goes in. See here, you can see, focus, get off my chin. Gosh darn. But anyway, the portion right about there where it's still dark, that's where they always stick. So where it turns from dark to shiny, about 2 threads down from that rib. In that area, between that rib and where it turns dark, that's where they always stick. They corrode right there and lock it in place. And what that little deburring tool does is it cut that part out, and hopefully it breaks the thread, the bottom side of the bolt loose, and screws it on up into the head when you do that. And you just clean up your thread a little bit, and it has a little extractor tool. You drive up in there and you back it out. It doesn't work as good as advertised, but it works a whole lot better than the way we used to do it. So hopefully I'll get to show you here later on in the week, drilling one out, start to finish. Like, comment, subscribe, hit your little bell notification, share it around. We'll talk at you later.